Iran is undergoing what has been called the largest wave of protests in its recent history. In 25 of the 31 Iranian provinces, citizens have taken to the streets and started a new wave of anti-regime protests. Their demands are clear: an end to the ongoing crisis, great reforms to end mismanagement and corruption, and an end to the theocracy that's been ruling the country since the Islamic Revolution in 1979. The regime's response was also clear. Over 500 people have been killed, according to several NGOs, and almost 11,000 people have been arrested, according to human rights activists' news agency. Meanwhile, the US government is following the conflict from up close and has publicly stated that different actions are being studied. President Donald Trump spoke out incisively. On social media, he commented, "If Iran kills the protesters, the US will rescue them. We are ready to go." In this video, we answer 3 uncomfortable questions. 1. Is Iran facing an economic crisis or the most serious threat to its political system since 1979? 2. How far is the regime willing to go to survive? And what happens when repression stops working? 3. If Iran fractures, who benefits, who loses, and why the consequences will reach far beyond its borders? December 2025 marked a haunting landmark in Iranian history. The country's currency suffered its biggest drop ever. Iran's rial lost close to 50% of its value. In practice, the common Iranian lost 50% of its salary, provoking an unseen crisis in Iranian households. This happened due to Iran's dogmatic reliance on oil. The country, under Ayatollah Khamenei's rule, barely diversified its economy, according to studies of the Brookings Institution. On top of that, Iran's geography poses the biggest challenge to this diversification. Iran's soil is arid, hindering agricultural production to feed the population, as well as developing industries that provide sustenance to citizens. Israel's recent attack on Iran's extraction fields, as well as sanctions from the US, the UN, and the European Union, have deepened the effects caused by Khamenei's administration of the national economy. The country also faces a severe water crisis, with its water reservoirs at critical levels that led to rationing. But Iran's economic quagmire is also strengthened by structural corruption. The Persian nation is one of the worst ranked in the corruption index. Iran holds the 151st position of a list of 180 countries and has an overall score of 23 out of 100. According to Hashem Pesaran, an Iranian economist, only 20% of the economic crisis over a period of 30 years was caused by sanctions, and 80% is due to domestic policies. Al Jazeera, known for favoring Iran and other Muslim countries, published a piece citing governmental mismanagement as the main cause of the water shortage crisis. According to the Asian Bank, cited in the report, Asian countries do not suffer from physical water scarcity. What turns water scarcity into a serious problem is water mismanagement. All these problems came to a head at the beginning of 2026, leading to the large protests. University students and businessmen staged a wave of protests. And as rallies grew, they started pushing for the end of Iran's theocracy. Across social media, protesters could be seen chanting anti-regime slogans such as "Death to the Dictator" or "Pahlavi will return," in reference to the deposed monarchy's heir. Reza Pahlavi is the son of Iran's deposed King Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, and he's been supporting the protests since the beginning. In recent days, he's said he's been ready to take power since his childhood. Amid the chaos, speculation around the death toll reigns sovereign. While the report until recent days was around 500, the range of numbers goes from 1,000 to 5,000, up to 12,000 casualties. For example, Reuters reports the death toll is close to 3,000. Meanwhile, Saudi-funded journal Iran International claims the death toll has risen to 12,000 casualties. This number, however, is not the highest in the country's history of protests since 1979. The number of casualties of the Islamic Revolution of '79 goes from 2,000 up to 3,000, while the deaths during protests between 2019 to 2020 go up to 1,500. One of the biggest humanitarian organizations, Human Rights News Agency, has reported that out of the 544 deaths, 496 were protesters and 48 were with security forces. In terms of arrests, the agency also reports more than 10,600 have been detained. BBC Persian also reports Iranian authorities are shooting protesters in the head and the heart. These reports have been confirmed by Tehran health workers at a hospital in the capital. If you're liking the content you're watching, give a like, share the video, and subscribe for more content like this. In the beginning, the Iranian government showed apparent docility to the protesters. Tehran wanted to hear them, but its counteroffer was to give them a monthly payment equivalent to $7. The Iranian president, Masoud Pezeshkian, called for maximum moderation in the face of the demonstrations, advocating dialogue and attention to the people's claims. However, the regime's stance swiftly changed. The supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, said authorities must listen to the protesters, but added that rioters need to be put in their place. Mohammad Movahedi Azad, Iran's prosecutor general, warned on Saturday that legal proceedings against rioters should be without leniency, mercy, or appeasement. He also warned that all criminals involved would be considered an enemy of God, an offense that carries the death penalty. Iran's chief of police, Brigadier General Ahmadreza Radan, also said the deaths and injuries were the fault of unpaid soldiers of Iran's enemies. Reuters has also confirmed the Ayatollah Khamenei stated that the Islamic Republic came to power through the blood of hundreds of thousands of honorable people. It will not back down against vandals. On January 11th, the Iranian regime declared a 3-day period of national mourning for the forces killed by so-called urban terrorist criminals, referring to civilians protesting all over the country. Over the last few days, President Trump has made several statements that point towards a swift action. The president recently stated that if the Iranian government threatened American citizens with lethal weapons, the United States would intervene. Regarding the demonstrators, he has also said the United States are locked and loaded and ready to go. For him, only strong options are being considered. U.S. officials have told the Wall Street Journal that other options include boosting anti-government sources online, using cyber weapons against Iran's military, or imposing more sanctions. Meanwhile, Trump has stated that the Iranian theocracy is willing to negotiate, and that negotiations are currently being set up. However, he said, "We may have to act while we negotiate." The Iranian Ayatollah did not back down. On the contrary, he stated that any U.S. action would be responded to in kind. Americans maintain military bases close to Iranian territory. In an escalation scenario, these bases could become targets for retaliation. The regime has also said that they don't want war, but are prepared for it. Most authoritarian regimes are built around a single, strong man. But the Islamic Republic of Iran operates as a bunker with multiple safety systems. According to analysis from the French Institute for International and Strategic Affairs, the Iranian system is a hybrid model that merges theocratic legitimacy, embodied by the supreme leader, with a highly controlled electoral structure. The first line of defense is the Guardian Council. As the Brookings Institution notes, this 12-member body acts as the ultimate gatekeeper. It exercises rigorous scrutiny. Recent elections resulted in the approval of only 6 candidates from a total of 80 or more applicants. The United Against Nuclear Iran, NGO, reinforces that this process is a deliberate electoral engineering designed to ensure that only those loyal to the supreme leader's vision can run. The council can even reach the point of disqualifying even former presidents, speakers of parliament, and cabinet ministers. Control extends beyond formal laws to the invisible hand of military power. Reports from UANI reveal the existence of the Bakiatala Cultural and Social Headquarters, a shadowy IRGC, Revolutionary Guard unit, led by Mohammad Ali Jafari. These headquarters are specifically dedicated to shaping political and cultural outcomes and creating an Islamic society with unprecedented precision over the last 5 years. To resolve institutional deadlocks, the system relies on the Expediency Council. According to UANI's institutional charts, this advisory board acts as the final arbiter when the parliament and the clerics of the Guardian Council clash over legislation. But the regime's architecture became even more rigid following the Iran-Israel War of 2025. On August 3, 2025, the government formally established the Defense Council. This body, operating as a sub-council of the Supreme National Security Council, SNSC, was created to centralize military and economic command, following devastating attacks on the country's nuclear and military infrastructure. While the regime presents it as a coordination tool, analysts like Morad Vaisi argue its true function is to protect the political system and prevent its destabilization. However, this elite cohesion comes at a heavy price. The Arab Gulf States Institute warns that by narrowing the circle of power and purging even loyal servants, the regime is alienating its own ones. The result is an emotional divorce from society. Data from media outlet Iran International and Arab Gulf Institute shows that voter turnout has dropped to record lows, approximately 42% nationwide and a mere 26% in Tehran. This highlights a mass boycott that signals a loss of both religious and civil legitimacy for the leadership. As the IRIS analysis concludes, while the regime's engineering is effective at maintaining institutional control, it leaves the system rigid and unable to adapt. It seems as if Iran in 2026 is a perfectly engineered bunker that is successfully keeping the world out, but is gradually running out of social oxygen inside. Iran now stands at a crossroads. The regime has built an extraordinary system to resist collapse, yet its limits remain unknown. Whether this moment leads to reform, repression, or rupture will depend on decisions in Tehran, reactions in Washington, and the resolve of a society increasingly unwilling to remain silent. What do you think about this? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and if this helped clarify something, share this video with someone who needs to see it. And since you stayed until the very end, we have a gift for you. If you want to go deeper into this topic, we've put together a free ebook that breaks down the Middle East conflict with historical context, including Iran's role and why this war doesn't stay contained in the region. It's free and designed to help you understand what may reach the West next. Tap the link in the description or scan the QR code and register to get the free ebook.